So we had some news come out recently where Donald Curry Jr., son of the welterweight, who was a very great fighter back in the day in the 80s, and he fought some tough competition. Michael Nunn, a lot of other guys suffered by knockout. I looked at different things he had going on back then because he suffered a lot of injuries, suffered from boxing that he's now dealing with in his own life past that situation. And since then, I looked at his why his conditioning could be like this and why everything as far as his health conditions is possibly like this. And this guy was in a lot of 15-round fights, man. Now I know a lot of people say, well, other fighters have been in a lot of fights. The man was in a lot of 15-round fights. Not a million of them, but two or three of them is enough. Well, you've seen people go 12 rounds and look like not the same. And for him to go into those fights and to come out the way he did, he's only been stopped 5 times. Um, I've seen people stopped many times, and for him to have those kind of conditions right now, uh, I don't know, man. I don't know what the way boxing is. I don't know if people would not trying to accuse anybody of anything that faced him, but I don't know how boxing was. You know what I'm saying? I got to be realistic. I don't know if he was ran into somebody who was had some extra things going on and whatever, but the condition that he's in right now needs to be looked at as far as from the boxing community. Just because I know you can't do everything for everybody who ever competed in boxing, but Donald Curry Jr., I would definitely suggest, a GoFundMe would have been a very good option, but he said he reached out to Top Rank and a lot of other people as far as his father, who's now not in the hospital right now, or he's not able to have any kind of rehabilitation or halfway house situation due to his conditioning, the brain injuries and things he suffered from the boxing game and everything else to go with it. The sparring, we don't know how much sparring this guy has done over the years, so a lot of that stuff impacts you. And I know people say, well, when you box, that's the hand you're dealt with, so you got to deal with it. Everybody knows what they get into before they get into boxing. Yeah, today we know this, but you got to look at other people like Wilfred Benitez and everything else. Like, those guys didn't actually be put in that position as far as being unable to care for themselves. So if that was me or anybody else, I would definitely want to speak for it. So Donald Curry Jr., he's reaching out to a lot of people. We had a couple of people reach out to him, reach back. He's trying to look for any kind of help. What I would say right now is first, he should definitely try to start a GoFundMe. But right now, I don't know, anything that's possible that can be done definitely should be. We got a lot of organizations and nonprofits out here, and I'm surprised that nothing could help a guy in his situation as far as with the things he has going on. You could slip and fall and have the same kind of injuries he's having. So it kind of shows you that the health situation, is health care and everything else that goes on out here is very serious. When this conversation comes up during voting or whatever, this is why the topic is very important. This is why it's one of the number one things. Because in any situation, the elders of this country or whatever have to be cared for in the correct manner. And especially in the boxing game. So I just want to use this as an example and a learning lesson for a lot of these young guys out here, especially fighters in America who's been taking a lot of fights, going across to another country, and you're fighting, no drug tests. You're letting gloves that's padding is not well put in just go by, and you're okay with this, and whatever happens, a smaller ring, and you know all kind of stuff that happens in fights. So I just want to put that out there for a reminder, let these young guys know that you can be fighting for the money right now, but if you can't chew your food in 10 years, is it really worth it? So sometimes make sure that the risk is worth the reward, because the reward sometimes is not worth the risk. And you're risking your life. It sounds cool until you have to have your mom or somebody feed you, until she passes away, like a lot of boxers have done. They've had to have their mom feed them until their mom passed away. Then when the mom passes away, you have no one else to take care of you. The women and everyone else that was in your life, the groupies or whatever, they're not around. Not saying that this is the situation for Mr. Curry, but I'm just saying, and as an athlete, you got to know what's really being done and what situation you in and what the consequences can be. Because a lot of these people do not care, man. They don't care. It's not really any kind of healthcare situations. A lot of people are trying to fight for certain guys to get unions and healthcare and lifetime healthcare and set up different things, but it's just not that way. And it's not really governed like that, but we'll have to see in the future. But that's all I got.